Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Monday Night Live. And it wouldn't be a Monday night, would it, if Rangers hadn't have made a big, massive balls of it the weekend before. And of course, we can trust them to beat Celtic. We can trust them to beat Hearts. Can we trust them to go and beat Livingston? Sadly not. Rangers, what do you do to us? Well, we're going to discuss it all, folks. So you've got your three favourite follically challenged eggs on this evening. Kenny, Davey, good evening, guys. How are you?
I'm not bad, mate. I hope you're well. And disappointing weekend for Rangers, really. But yeah, I've got plenty to discuss. So how are you, Davey?
Yeah, well, you can tell what kind of weekend I had yesterday because I've spent this afternoon checking the rules of the game in the IFAB website. So you can probably tell already what I'm going to be talking about later on. Although I think there's quite a few things to cover before we get to the events of the 93rd minute or whatever it was. But it was a bad day. It was a bad day yesterday, a bad weekend, and I think at some point we're going to be calling it a 4-horse race or a 3-horse race. The way things are going.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Motherwell are right in there from this. Karen has pointed out, Stevie, you're in the wrong box. Well, Karen, Kenny said, and I quote, he wanted to be on top this evening. You know, I'm not saying anything
given the
else.
option, to be fair, and I said I'd rather be on top.
Yeah, let's not discuss what we talked about after that. Livingston 2, Rangers 2. Davey, give us your feedback from yesterday.
Oh, where do we begin? Third away game in a row that we've dropped points, which I think is the first thing to say. I think we started off. We could have scored in the first few minutes, and then who knows what the way the game would have turned out. Combination of absolutely shocking finishing, horrible defending, great goalkeeping, and just a kind of lackadaisical attitude for too long. All combined, I think, to put us in a situation that was utterly ridiculous against a team that haven't won since August. 2-0 down at Livingston's an absolute scandal. I can't think of another word for it. I mean, my God, they've not won a game, as I said, since the second weekend of the season. You could argue, I suppose, that in the position we ended up being in, that getting out of it with not losing was a slight positive, but that was without doubt 2 points thrown away, and we've now got to the stage that we can't really afford to throw any more away, can we?
No, we definitely not. Kenny, your thoughts?
Yeah, how you find yourself 2-0 down at Livi is very disappointing. Put it that way. You can't defend like that. We'll discuss that, but we've had enough chances yesterday to win 2 or 3 matches, to be fair, and just a bad day at the office, mate, and it's becoming a little bit of a habit away from home. I've been on here the last couple of weeks saying that I genuinely feel that Danny Röhl's got to find a formula to start turning these draws into wins away from home, and he's not found it yet. But I'm not particularly tonight going to lay the blame at Danny Röhl's door, actually. I think some of the players need to take a right good look at themselves yesterday, because I don't think the application was spot on yesterday, in my opinion.
Yeah, sadly, I agree. I'm going to talk about that. Quite a bit. I'm going to say on it, I was there, and I thought there was an attitude about them that they could just play and score and we'd be okay, and it lacked urgency, it lacked tempo, far too slow passing. I don't think that's on Röhl. I think we had something like 13 efforts in the first half, give away 2 really poor goals from our point of view. Take too long to maximise the extra man as well, and I just thought we were cumbersome. I thought we looked really bad. Players, yet again, individual players, which we'll talk about, Miovskis, Kasamas, etc., just not there. And here's a really controversial bit: 82 minutes on the clock, being 2-0 down. I'm happy to get a point. Sorry. Am I happy that we drew at Livingston? Absolutely not. Is it a good result? Absolutely not. With 8 minutes left and to get a point, yes. I would take that. As defeated as that is from that situation, 82 minutes, yes. So there was a part of that from me. Doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it a good result. So let's not get confused on that. Let's just go into it straight away before we kind of go over yesterday. Is there an attitude problem? I think there is an attitude problem. And I think there's a complacency. And it, big crowd, big games, it looks to me like the players can get themselves up for it, Kenny, Davy. But when it comes to a game like yesterday or an away game at Hibs or Motherwell, 3 points and 9 on the road isn't good enough. There's just there seems to be a conservative approach from the players in these games. When you look up the setup, the attacking players we had yesterday, Moore played in the 10. People wanted them in there. People wanted Olsen to start. People wanted Gassama on the left. They wanted Chamiti to continue up front. Nadiri wasn't fit, or he would have played with him. Like Chukwani, they wanted him in the midfield. Raskin, it's the team that people want. I don't want Röhl to really change formation from 2 away from up top, but Miovski's not been good enough to start. So I get it. It's a slight tinker. It's a small change. But Jesus, man, it's just like sometimes I watch them and they're just out there stroking it about for fun. Like they've got all the time in the world. There's no urgency. There's no passion. And you watch them and it's just like, I'll give you an example. See when that ball came back to Chamiti and he blocked in the line, he tried to kind of roll it in and stuff. Just fucking put your foot through it, man. Jesus. Like the frustration levels for me, that's Nadiri rifles in the top corner. That's Miovski. He would have been over the other side and not had the chance anyway. But just rifle it in the room. And it's stuff like that just gets in my tits. Like it really does. And it's this ability of, okay, sorry, we'll equalise in 5 minutes. We'll get going in 5 minutes. And that's how it comes across when you're in the stand. And I certainly felt that yesterday. And I don't know what everybody else is thinking and what they are. And it's only my opinion, which doesn't make it right. But the attitude, the tempo, just looks, you watch them and it looks like they're just thinking, we'll be fine. We're better than them. It'll come and we'll take our time. And they find ourselves 2-0 down and go, shit, we need to move our arse. Boys, does any of that make sense? That's how it feels.
Does for me. My issue started almost immediately where James Tavernier got the ball and put it straight out the park the first minute. Then about a minute after that, there's a kind of diagonal ball and he utterly mistimes that and just gets away with it. It goes out the park. And then 3 minutes in and he's got a throw in up the touchline and he throws it about 7 yards straight to a Livi player. And it kind of set the tone. And this is not a dig at just James Tavernier. So I'm just saying it's setting the tone. That's your captain. Yeah, John Souttar had an appalling game yesterday. That's your vice captain. These are the guys that are the leaders in this team, apparently. And for me, I have banged on about this since this pod started, that I just don't trust this leadership group at all. I just don't. I think if you look at the other one there, Jack Butland, he's prone to a calamity as well. I think Nico Raskin had an appalling game yesterday. These are guys that are experienced players for Rangers, and I just think they're setting the tone. There's a lot of new, younger players in this squad, Stevie, that for a lot of them, it's maybe the first or second time over at Livingston. As Davey has said, they've not won a game since August. Our application, I felt, was wrong pretty much from the start. And I thought we started playing okay. We had the Romans chance in the first few minutes. But even before that, I thought we were slow in the build-up. We were very, very laboured at the back, trying to get it into midfield. And as I say, I don't know if it's a readjustment because of the formation situation where you're playing with two holders again. I'm not quite sure. But I just feel that with this team over the last couple of seasons, you can, Rangers in general, never mind a team, I think you can tell within the first 5 minutes of an awful lot of games, particularly away from home, what's going to happen. And for me, I'm sorry, I just look at that and say we've spent 40, 50 million quid this summer. Look at Livy's budget. If you go and apply yourself properly, you win that game yesterday. And as you've said, Stevie, the likes of the Chermity chance is a prime example of how not to try and finish. As you say, you've just got to be lethal in a situation like that. You're 4, 5, 6 yards out, smash it as hard as you can, lift it, and it's a goal. But no, I don't know what he's doing. He manages to get about a foot off the ground, but straight at the keeper. It's that, I'm not saying hunger, because I'm sure they are, and I'm not saying that they're not giving their all. I just feel at times you can just look at it and just say the application, as I say, is the word I would use, isn't right. And it's a formula, as I say, that Danny Röhl's going to have to bust. He's going to have to find this, because frankly, if we don't start, we've got 5 home games, 5 away games. I'm like you, I don't think, and I'm not concerned about the home games in particular, but the away games that are now worrying me, because the form away from home is just simply not good enough. And if we don't rectify it, we will not win this league. It's as simple as that for me. So it's an application issue.
Yeah, I think the away form is my big worry as well. I think yesterday was a little bit different from what Hibs, where I thought we just absolutely nothing. We were just passive the whole game. I thought yesterday, I think we just thought we were better than them. We were going to score at any time, and we just had completely the wrong attitude. And what I will say about it is, I think if you look at the chances we created in the first half, especially. An awful lot of them came from set pieces, corners, that kind of thing. Our open play is too slow, too laboured. I think we just don't take enough risks when it comes to open play. The good chances we had came from, I think one of them was a Tavernier free kick that the keeper saved, and Fernandes put it over the bar when he should have bust the net with it. The Chermity one came from a set piece, and then there was a big scramble, wasn't there? And he should have scored on the line. The Romans header at the back post, came a corner, got cleared out and put back in again. I don't think we're creating enough from our possession in open play. And I think that's entirely down to the pace of the play that we have, the tempo that we have, and just the fact we don't have enough players that actually take players on, players that take a risk to try the right pass at the right time. I just think we're too safe. And I've been saying it for weeks that I think we need to take more risks, we need to be braver. I keep using this expression, titles don't get given to you. And I think, yesterday 3 points don't get given to you either. You've got to go out and take them. And I just feel as if we just expected it yesterday rather than went out and made it happen.
Yeah, sadly I agree. Tom, my good friend Tom Buchan comments, and Tom actually went to the game with Tom yesterday, so really appreciate that from Tom. Too many safe passes, not ruthless enough in the final third. Bang on. It's too conservative. And here's why it gets to me, right? Because see, when they go 2-0 down, they clearly suddenly think to themselves, shit. And we start getting urgent. We start forcing it. We start stretching. We start moving it quicker. And we score twice. It's so frustrating. Goals we conceded, guys. Suter fanning about. He was off it yesterday, really miles off it, the first 20 minutes especially. It's almost like he couldn't judge the bounce of the ball on that pitch. He gets caught, gives away a needless free kick. They score from it. Good finish, but we should get first contact. We don't. The second one, it's on the right-hand side. I haven't seen it back. I don't know who's culpable there. Suter, Tavernier's corner. Is Tab picking somebody up? Because he seemed to intimate in the ground that he wasn't the one picking him up. So how's he got free? He was completely free, finishes it well, but he's got a free shot in. And yeah, we suddenly find ourselves 2-0 down when we were largely untroubled. I don't remember Jack Butland having a save of note. He had a couple at him. But yeah, again, teams are... If Rangers could find the level of ruthlessness that teams find against us, we would be in good shape because, Kilmarnock, Motherwell, and the goals that we do concede, I don't remember Butland having many saves in these games. Butland, again, at Motherwell, maybe in the last couple of minutes of a good save and stuff. But over the course of it, we seem to face goalkeepers like Pryor yesterday who made 3 worldy saves. That one from Romans, the one from Tav, the one from Miofsky. Like, he's making world-class saves, whereas Butland doesn't. But when they get chances, teams are finishing it, whereas it takes us 10 before we're doing it. So there's a frustration there, but we find ourselves 2-0 down, and the goals conceded, boys, it's just, they're sloppy. Like, it's lazy, almost complacentness in them. That ball comes in, or somebody else will deal with it. That's somebody else's man. So frustrating.
For me, it was John Souttar had a really poor game. I've already said that, but the first goal comes from him inexplicably giving a really poor free kick away. The ball comes in. There's no first contact on the cross that comes in, and the boy buries it. To be fair, it's a good cracking finish, a great volley, but a really disappointing goal to lose but nobody's attacking the ball. The boy's got the first contact on it and buries it in the corner. The second goal again comes from a mix-up between Souttar. It's a bad ball from Souttar to Tavernier. Tavernier gets himself in a fuddle. Next thing we get, literally 30 seconds later, there's a situation at our back post where there's two of them completely free. So I don't really know what James Tavernier is complaining about, because he's in that area and he's not really marking anyone, if I can recall properly. So I'm not blaming him necessarily, because I haven't particularly watched the game back because I thought it was pointless. But you shouldn't have a guy standing there in that amount of space with all the time in the world to just take a touch and bury it in the corner. And it's just shocking defending, Stevie. And as I say, to me, it's a genuine complacency about it. That when you're a goal down, you've got to be ultra focused in a situation that we find ourselves in, where it's a must-win. Every single game is an absolute must-win, and we find ourselves 2-0 down to a team that's going to be playing championship football next season, and I don't think there's any doubt in that. And that's my issue with this Rangers team yesterday. I'm at my wit's end watching this now, where we've got ourselves into a position over the last few weeks, Stevie, where we could and perhaps should find ourselves top of this league. We are now sitting 4 points behind, and it's because we simply, at this minute in time, are not defending well. I thought John Souttar on that pitch yesterday was all over the place. I thought James Tavernier had a poor game. I thought Manny Fernandez, for all he had his strike, had a pretty poor game. And it's kind of coincided with Big Giga being taken out the team, Stevie, when at that point, when Souttar was injured and Giga was in, we were keeping clean sheets, and now we're not. And I'm not saying it's necessarily down to that. I'm just saying it's coincided with that. And I found myself yesterday as frustrated as I've been in a long, long time watching Rangers, because if you can't do either right at either end of the park, Stevie, you've got no chance. And as you say, we're sitting there with 7-8 minutes to go and you're 2-0 down. It's just not acceptable. And it's because our defence was absolutely rotten at both goals. It's that simple. Really, really poor.
I think there's a stink lack of the basics yesterday. The first goal, well, I'll start with saying I think Livingston's only real chance of scoring goals yesterday was going to come for set pieces. That's what they would have relied on, I would have thought. They were hard up the park otherwise. So to give them a cheap free kicks was the stupidest thing to do, because it was the only way they were actually going to score a goal. The first one, it was a foul. It was a bit soft, but it was a foul. But 40 yards for goal. We should be able to defend a free kick 40 yards for our own goal. Ball into the box. You would expect your defender to win it. No defender won it, and to be fair, it was an absolutely brilliant finish. I think that guy could do that again if he had another 100 goals at it. The second goal, I personally actually don't think it was a foul. I think it was a very, very soft decision that they got for the foul out in the touchline. When the ball got cleared out, I don't know whether they were all trying to come out and play offside, or I don't know what they were doing, because they were doing it far too slow in that case. But they left the guy that scored, he must have had 10 yards of space. Yes, he was on Tavernier's side, and yes, I think Tavernier might have been the closest player to him. I did watch it again the two guys on that side of the box at the time were Tavernier and Romans, believe it or not. It wasn't so it was nowhere near it. It's almost as if the guy was invisible. None of the two of them even saw him. I've got no idea how none of the two of them went to close him down. I haven't a clue why. Unless they were trying to play offside, in which case they were doing it far too slowly. A shocking goal to give away. But see, when you talk about not doing the basics, I think there was a lot more to it than just defensive brain farts. I think that a lot of our passing in midfield was dreadful. I think we must have passed the ball straight out of the park about 4 or 5 times yesterday. I thought Raskin especially was really poor yesterday. So, what if we're saying would we change the defence for next Sunday? I'm not sure, because I don't think Sterling will be fit, and if he's not fit, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Giga actually improves it, and I'm not sure Aarons improves it, and who else is there?
Yeah, again, there's questions before Sunday, but there's questions again all over the pitch, which will come to late in the game. We do equalise, and the first moment comes from Fernandes. He's left on the ball, plays a through ball, Gassama nips in, red card. About 4 hours later, we get one back through Manny Fernandes, and it's him that finally somebody takes a fucking shot with a wee bit of power, and he leathers it in, and it's a great finish. And then, for all we've criticised, or all the comments seem to be blaming James Tavernier for just everything in life, Tav swings in a brilliant cross and Mikey Moore heads it in. I thought our set pieces yesterday were pretty poor. Yeah, I do agree with that, with I think maybe 15 corners, and all of them were pretty poor. When you look at the individual performances yesterday, I'm not sure Tav springs to mind first for me, but we'll get there in a minute. I did think that Nadim Bayrami made a difference when he came on. I think he plays with urgency. I think he has a ton of pace. I think he's got direction. And I think genuinely doesn't look like he's a huffy little shit like Gassama did, unfortunately, as soon as he was moved to the right-hand side. Attitude there. Again, we talk about it. And I like Jedi, and people will know that because I've said it. But at times I just look at him and think, what? Skov Olsen seems to pick and choose his moments. Again, he seems to play like he's in second gear and not willing to go up. Asgard, don't even bother. When he came on, I just thought, why are we doing that? Again, like Chermiti, Asgard, they're miles away from goal, and I just keep talking about it because that's all I keep seeing, and they don't create any chances. They're never in where they should be, and it just frustrates the life out of me. But we do at least equalise. We'll talk about the other big moment in a minute. But guys, at least we showed a wee bit of balls. Cracking finish by Fernandes, cracking pass for him for Gassama. Mikey Moore with an excellent header. By the way, we had 12 minutes left at that point. We should be going to score a third, and we don't really create or do anything. It's all laboured. It's almost again like we get there and it's enough, and there's no urgency. They were dead on their feet. They had 10 men, and we just, frustration central, I'm afraid.
The first goal was a cracking finish from Manny Fernandes, and as you say, it's the first time that somebody's properly put the ball in a corner all day long, really, apart from the Romans header in the first 5 minutes. I thought everything, everybody keeps telling me that Prior or whatever his name is, had a world there. I thought he was decent, but I thought just about everything that was at him, I would expect a decent keeper to save. So I'm not giving him the Livi keeper huge amounts of credit at all, to be honest. The second goal, good cross in for James Tavernier, lovely wee glancing header for Mikey Moore. I'm with you on that. You've got 10, 12 minutes left, whatever it was. However, I feel that what we're going to come to discuss actually broke our momentum entirely, because I thought before that happened, we were all over them like a bad rash, and I expected a goal to come. And then after the 3.5 minutes or whatever it was, our momentum was utterly broken. And that was what annoyed and frustrated me about the whole thing. But on the finishes, two good finishes. I thought Manny Fernandes was the pick of the two, to be fair. I thought it was a tremendous finish. And I've not got any here, but I'd have been pulling my hair out 5 minutes before it, because he tried to rifle one for 40, 45 yards and hit I don't know, Edinburgh probably. It was that far, high and wide. It's just frustrating. I'm with you on the kind of urgency. Somebody told me that there's that Diamandi might be carrying a wee knock. I have no idea if that's true, but he was on the bench, and how anybody, in particular our manager, can look at our bench and not play Diamandi in front of Telewasca is beyond me. That was a source of frustration when that happened. Look, as I say, we should have won that game yesterday. That's what's pissing me off about it, Stevie. I think we've put ourselves right behind an 8 ball now, actually. We've really got no room for manoeuvre whatsoever because of the situation that we found ourselves in yesterday. Because if we don't win on Sunday, I think it's bust for us. I genuinely do. I just can't see us finishing above Hearts at all. Because for all that they're not playing well, Stevie, they've got the incredibly good habit of nicking wins time and time again. By all accounts, I know a couple of Hearts fans, and I was talking to one yesterday, and he told me they were rotten at Tynecastle on Saturday, but they've won. He says he didn't play well, but we've won the game. He said, did we deserve it? Just about, but we didn't play well. So that's the issue I've got. Nick, when you go, Stevie?
I was going to say, here's the other thing as well, is that we can't keep giving away points. Davey, jump in this as well and be like, it's fine, Hearts will fall away, Hearts will do this. The games are running out. So we gain points, give them back. We gain points, give them back. And it keeps, before you know it, we'll run out of games. And Hearts are doing what you're saying, which is fine, understand all that. The other thing is as well about getting beat on Saturday. If we get beat, we could be 7 behind Hearts. And we've only got to play them one spot. I reckon as well. Here's the other thing. If we beat Celtic and Hearts win the weekend, Celtic are 9 behind Hearts. This is a win or bust for both sides come Sunday morning. And it's going to depend a lot on what happens with Hearts and Aberdeen. Aberdeen are absolutely dog shit, unfortunately, when it comes to maybe taking something off Hearts. But on your point, Kenny, yeah, we're running out of games. But Sunday becomes massive because whoever loses that is effectively out of it.
I think when you look at the not just this weekend's fixtures, but the fixtures up to the split, I think probably Hearts have got as good a set of fixtures as anybody's got actually in the top 4. They've got Motherwell to play at Tynecastle, but other than that, I think for the rest of the games are all teams in the bottom 6. So I think if we sit here and say we're all expecting Hearts to blow it, I think that time's long past. And as Kenny's mentioned, 4 points behind them with an Old Firm game coming up. We can't afford to go any further behind. If you look at after the split, we're going to have to go to Tynecastle. We're going to have to go to Parkhead. I know we've won at Parkhead this season, but if you look at our away form, that's not the way you want to finish the season with 2 away games. So we really need to get the gap down rather than keep it where it is. And draws won't do it. Draws won't do it. Timid approach to games won't do it. Bad defending won't do it. We're now at the squeaky bum time of the season, and draws won't be enough anymore. And I would say probably everybody will still drop points. Hearts will drop points. Celtic will drop points. Motherwell will drop points. We'll drop points. But the big question is, will we drop 4 less than Hearts will? And that's debatable to say the least at the moment, I would say.
And here it comes, the really shitty moment as we turn our attention yet again this season to a referee VAR incident. What can we say? Trimiti wins a flick. Moore goes on. Mikey Moore is about to shoot for goal and he's wiped out by Cameron Kerr. First point of contact outside the box. Is that the one that fouls him? Because the second one certainly does foul him, and that's inside the box. Is it denying a goal scoring opportunity? We're going to talk about that in a wee minute as well. This is a fucking awful decision for me. Excuse the French again. It's about the 5th time I've swore tonight. It's either 2 things for me. It's either a yellow card and a penalty for the second point of contact, or it's a red card and it's a foul outside the box. And the reason I say that is 12 years I was a referee. And here's where it becomes a bit distorted. Clear goal scoring opportunity. Mikey Moore's in the act of swinging his leg to shoot. There's nobody in front of him. All this bollocks about a player could have covered. Covered what? He was in the act of actually shooting. So there's nobody getting round. There's nobody covering that shot. And you watch it back, he's in the act of actually swinging his foot at it. It's a clear goal scoring opportunity. He's in front of goal. He's at edge of box, front of goal, nobody in front of him. Nobody blocking that. So is it a clear opportunity? Yes. So here's the thing. If it's outside the box, it becomes a free kick and a red card, VAR can intervene, and they don't do anything. When you look at the decision for the Motherwell red card against Aberdeen last week, when the boy was sent off at the D of the halfway line for a clear goal scoring opportunity, come on. This is where the rules are objective for whoever's watching it. And I just thought it was really poor. See, to spend 3.5 minutes looking at it and then just not give anything at all because of what? I understand the no penalty thing. I understand it. If you want to say first point of contact in the foul from the left foot comes outside the box, fine. It's a red card then and it's a free kick. If you're going into the box and you're carrying and then you say that scissor motion catches him and causes a foul, then it's a penalty and a yellow. But to give nothing, bollocks. Kenny.
Ridiculous. I'm getting kind of sick and tired of talking about these incompetents, honestly. It's right. I'll lay this on the line for everybody. For me, I think it's a penalty kick. And the reason I think it's a penalty kick is because Mikey Moore's foot is on that line. Now, they're turning around and saying that the challenge is outside the box. That's what the consensus is on Sky and stuff like that. I actually think when you actually watch that properly, Mikey Moore's foot's on the line. Therefore, it is a penalty. Now, if they're not giving the penalty, then I'm with you on this 100%. He is actually in the motion of striking the ball. Therefore, it is a goal-scoring opportunity. We've seen this since the Austin Trusty thing at Hearts, or I think it was at Celtic Park. Can't remember where it was, but in the Celtic Hearts game, when Austin Trusty gets sent off, and that's deemed a goal-scoring opportunity. Kabori, I believe it was. That was a goal-scoring opportunity in the halfway line. Now, how can it possibly not be a goal-scoring opportunity when the guy's in the act of striking the ball on the 18-yard line? So that's my kind of concern with this, that it's 3.5 minutes, and I actually think it shows an incompetence that is actually beyond belief, Stevie, where I was sitting in here watching it with my son, and the two of us went, well, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a red card and a free kick? Which I was quite confident that we would have 5 minutes with them down to 9 men, whether we scored with a free kick or not, we were going to win the game, or we were going to get a penalty, and even with 10 men, with 5 minutes to go, we were going to win the game. They end up only adding 2 minutes on to the time added on, even though it took 3.5. There was a boy down before that for a full minute. There was 2 players down for nearly a minute thereafter that, but we get 2 minutes added on. And this is why this is what's really pissed me off with this, is that referees are now, we have got to the point, we didn't get a penalty, a clear penalty against Motherwell a fortnight ago. And it's a clear penalty kick. We're not getting that. We're not getting this. We're getting Jack Butland kicked in the head, and it's not excessive force. What the fuck does that mean? How forceful does that have to be to deliberately kick someone on the head? And this is where I have said this over and over and over again. And before I go on a major rant, I'm going to say it one more time. For goodness sake, Rangers, take this mob to task. Find out legally exactly what we can do and how far we can take this, because this is beyond incompetent, Stevie. Now, I'm not saying it's cheating, because I think they're fucking awful for everybody. I watched the St Mirren player on Saturday night get sent off for nothing. I've watched Liam Scales very possibly should have had a penalty against Hibs yesterday. And you're like, they look at it for 3 seconds and nothing. The whole point of this is incompetence. I don't care what team you support. They are not fit for purpose. And yeah, we've had some go our way this season, but we've had far more go against us, and particularly in big games, Stevie. And I'm kind of bored of it because it's been going on for years. So what I would like to see Rangers do is actually go after Willie Collum. I'm calling it for the 3rd time on this podcast. Go after this man. He is not fit for purpose. The standards are getting worse by the week with him in charge of leading these referees. He's not good enough, and neither of his referees. It is absolutely pathetic that he's got some kind of pathetic TV show to turn around and talk about all the mistakes he makes they're making in our game. And I'm just sick of it, Stevie. And it's not just for Rangers, it's for the entirety of Scottish football. This lot are not fit for purpose.
I'm going to just quickly jump in. Robert Fraser keeps rabbiting on in the comments. Kenny, is every effort from 18 yards out a goal-scoring opportunity? Robert, I'll say it yet again. Mikey Moore is beyond. There's nobody in front of him. He's got a free shot at goal. There's nobody should be challenging him either side. It's a goal-scoring opportunity when you're literally 18 yards in front of the goal and you've got a free shot, which it was until he was fouled in the act of it. If it's outside, I don't mind that in the slightest. Then it's a free kick and it's a red card. If it's inside, it's a yellow and a penalty. This is where the issue is. If there's a goal-scoring opportunity from the halfway line on the D, then 18 yards out, clear shot on goal. It doesn't have to be a guaranteed goal. It's opportunity. The wording is there. Davey.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the Willie Collum bandwagon as well, actually. So I was a bit perturbed. I wasn't there yesterday. I watched it in Sky, and kind of immediately after the game, the narrative came out about this. The first contact decides where the foul was, and the first contact was outside the box. Now, I'm going to talk about the rules in a minute, but even if I just talk about what this first contact actually was, it was a brush of Mikey Moore's leg that didn't actually stop him from going forward. The actual contact that brought him down and the contact that was the foul was the second contact on him, if you like, which was clearly inside the box. It wasn't even on the line, it was in the box. For me, it's an absolute stonewall penalty. But what the panel in Sky said, and apparently what that ex-ref Gallagher said in Sky Sports News earlier today, was it was a foul outside the box because only holding continues into the box. So it's this first contact stuff. So me being a bit of an anorak, I get the rule book out today. Law 12 is about fouls, and it does say in it, if a defender starts holding an attacker outside the penalty area and continues holding inside the area, the referee must award a penalty kick. Now, this wasn't holding. So Willie Collum has put a directive out to the Scottish referees, basically, that says, unless it's holding, you go with first point of contact. He's given them that directive, which is why the VAR guys gave that decision yesterday. But the IFAB website, footballrules.com, has got something called advantage in it. And in advantage, it says, and I quote, if a defender starts fouling an opponent outside the penalty area and the foul continues into the penalty area, the referee plays advantage for the offence committed outside the area and awards a penalty kick. Now, for me, that's as plain as the nose on my face, which is pretty plain. That is a bloody penalty kick yesterday. And the reason it's not given is because Willie Collum has given false advice to his refereeing teams. And it came from, I don't know if you saw it, Celtic had a foul on the line against Dundee in the Scottish Cup tie a few weeks ago. And the first contact was outside the box and it continued on to the line and they gave it outside. And Collum came on to his VAR show and he actually said it on Friday night. Only holding can be given as continuing into the box because it's in Rule 12. Actually, the IFAB rules actually tell you fouls. It doesn't say holding, it says fouls. So I think the directive that's been given from Willie Collum is the problem here. And that is why we didn't get a penalty, or one of the problems. The other problem is it was the clearest goal-scoring opportunity you're ever likely to see. And if you don't give the penalty, you absolutely have to send the guy off. I just don't see how there's any debate about that. It would be a yellow card if it was a penalty because he was making an attempt to get the ball, but it would be a red card if you could give a foul outside the box. And the last thing I'm going to say is, did any of you guys see the Aberdeen-Dundee game for the weekend? Dundee got a penalty.
I seen the winning goal, which was unbelievable.
Dundee got a penalty in the first half. One of the attackers got in front of an Aberdeen player who sort of barged into his back. The first contact is outside the box, but he pushes him, and by the time the push is finished, he's inside the box. That went to VAR, and guess what? They agreed it was a penalty. So what the hell one is it? The rules changed to suit themselves, unfortunately. Either Aberdeen shouldn't have had a penalty against them on Saturday, and we shouldn't have had a penalty yesterday. But the rules to me are pretty clear. Advantage if it's outside the box and continues in it. That's exactly what happened yesterday. There was the thing outside the box was just like a tickle in his leg. The actual foul's inside the box. It's a penalty. Full stop.
Another reason it's a foul is, and people are missing this in the laws and everything else, Cammy Kerr's scrambling to get back because he knows fine well that Mikey Moore's about to pull the trigger. Goes with his left and goes with his right. The clear intention there is to stop him, Davey. Put the rules and everything and all that to the side. He hacks him down because he knows what's coming.
Yeah, to me, I just went back to the rules of the game, and the rules of the game tell me that's a penalty. It's as simple as that. And I think that the guy in charge of referees in Scotland is actually telling his referees not to give a penalty when it should be. And I think, as Kenny's just said, we should be asking serious questions of the SFA whether their head of referees actually knows the rules of the game.
I would just go as far as to say is what I've said in here before, and I'll back Kenny. I think that Willie Collins unfit for purpose. I think that everything's got worse since he's taken over, and I think that's the measure of how we judge somebody on doing his job. Yeah, we'll leave that there. Our away form is going to cost us this league title. That's the biggest problem. 3 points in the last 9. Draws, conservative draws away at Hibs, where we hardly did anything. At Motherwell, where we blew it, big style manager. And yesterday, when we just didn't bother our arse until it was too late. So here's the thing for me. Do I trust us at Ibrox? Yes. Do I trust us away from home? No. Do I think all is lost? Absolutely not. Nobody's thrown in the towel here, but we have to go on a run. 10 games left. And I remember, I don't know, boys, if you remember, Walter's third season, if I remember correctly. We were 10, 11 games from home, and Dundee United beat us 3-2 at home. And we went 4 behind Celtic, I believe, 4 behind Celtic at that point. And Celtic ended up drawing, I think, and then they got beat by Inverness Cali Thistle, and we went on a tremendous run. We won 9 out of our last 10, and the only points dropped was a 0-0 draw with Celtic at home. We need to find a way to win 9 out of our last 10. To win this league, I forecast we will need 28 points. We could put Celtic out of it on Sunday, and that's clear as day to me. If we need any more motivation, we could kill them stone dead. They will not recover from 9 points. And by the way, they're honking at this moment in time. They'll get pasted in Stuttgart on Thursday. They can't rotate the squad because it's Europe and they don't have one. They'll get a pasting out there. And even if they don't and they try and get some sort of draw or whatever, or even sneak a win or whatever, they're still going out. And that'll suit us because they will blow a gasket out there as well come Sunday. I just think it's all there for us. At home, Ibrox will be rocking. Hearts got Aberdeen on Saturday, which I think they'll take care of. So it goes down to us again. We could put them right out of it. And then it becomes, can we chase Hearts and can we hunt them down? At home means nothing if we are going to go to St Mirren in a couple of weeks and blow it all over again. So this is where mentality comes into it. There's no more lives left. They have to start killing teams. Does Danny Röhl just go, do you know what, fuck it, we're going 4-4-2 for the rest of the season? I think he might need to. I think it all depends on Ryan Nadiri's fitness as well. So there's a lot of questions. Do you know what? See, if we're not going to win the league, I'd love us just to go balls out and just try and kill teams and win the league. I'd love us to do that. Just, you know what, if we don't win it and we just died on our feet, I'd rather do that than surrender it on our knees, which it felt like a wee bit yesterday. Boys, it's still all there. There's no lives left.
I'm a little bit between a rock and a hard place with that result yesterday, because I actually don't believe that was Danny Röhl's fault yesterday. I genuinely blame the players, or certain players, for that yesterday. Now, I'm not quite as extreme as some of the comments where, you know, Champ James Tavernier is at fault for everything, but I thought James Tavernier was pretty grim yesterday in his performance. I thought John Souttar was pretty grim.
He's one of about 5 who I thought were awful yesterday.
Yeah,
and we can go back to individuals. We can go back to individuals if you want after that. Kenny, fire on me.
No. This is what I'm trying to say. But there's other players out there that need to go and have a look in the mirror and actually say, did you give everything you could yesterday? Because I genuinely don't believe they did. There's an attitude about them, as you say, that it's just going to come for us. We're better than this team. Nothing ever works that way in Scottish football. You have to go and win your battles first. And as Walter Smith used to say, go and win your battle, you know, fight your battle for an hour. In the last half hour, your quality will win that game. That was his mantra for many, many years, his first time here. And I still stand by that in Scottish football. It's very, very much the same today. It'll be a battle for a long, long time. And you need to win that personal duel. And there was too many of our players yesterday didn't win their individual duels. For me, that was the problem. And I don't necessarily blame Danny Röhl for that. But I am concerned about the way Danny Röhl was setting the team up and chopping and changing from the 4-2-2-2 to the 4-2-3-1 away from home, and we're struggling to create chances. That's not the issue yesterday, but this is what I'm saying. I'm a wee bit, how do I put this? Because I don't think that was the issue yesterday. But with respect, we should be burying Livi yesterday. Now, the point I would make is, you've just kind of made my point for me here. Balls out, 4-2-4, 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2, whatever way you want to look at it, go and attack teams. Stop giving teams respect as players and as a coaching staff. Go and attack every single team, because I believe, that's open to debate, but I believe we have the best team and squad in the country. And all we have to do is go and prove it and play to the best of your ability. And I'm a bit like you as well, also, Stevie, where I've been looking at this today, and I actually think if we don't sort out our away form, like genuinely the way Rangers are at this moment in time, the way Celtic are at this moment in time, there's 10 games left, and Hearts might only need to win 6 of them to win this league. That's how, 6 wins and 2 draws, and they're going to win this if we don't rectify ourselves. That's where I'm at. We are literally, we have to take 26, 27, 28 points. That's where I'm at now. That's what we're going to have to take in the last 10 games, or I fear we will not get there. I do believe that if we beat Celtic on Sunday, then they will capitulate. I think they will just crumble because of the weight of pressure on them. They've got Aberdeen thereafter, then they're at home to Motherwell, and I just can't see them sustaining it at all. They've also got Motherwell, us, and Hearts still to play, along with Hibs that beat them yesterday, and Falkirk. They are not. They're a defeat for them kind of kills them, I think, in terms of any kind of momentum they're going to be able to pull. Hearts are now the issue for me. That's not to say that if we lose on Sunday, I believe we'll be out of this too. I genuinely do. I think it's so cutthroat now that people will turn and say there's still 30 points to play for. Yeah, but every 2 points dropped it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. At some point, you're just going to keel over, and that's where I am at with Rangers. I think the last 3 away games are killing us. 6 points dropped out of 9 it's nowhere near good enough when you're trying to win a league title, Stevie.
So, see, when you talked about that last Walter Smith season, he actually done exactly what you are saying we should do now. He actually went 4-4-2 and went for the throat for the first whistle in the games after the split. Remember, he put Lafferty and Jelovic up front. He had two wingers and he just went for it. I think we beat Motherwell 5-0. We beat Hearts 4-0. We were 2 and 3 goals up within 20 minutes in games. We just went for it, and I think that's exactly the kind of attitude that we need to have from right now. I totally agree in the two up front. I think I've been saying it for most of the season right enough, so I might as well be consistent about it. Even if Nadiri's not fit, I still think we've got to find a way of playing that two up front system, because I don't think we've got anybody that leads the line themselves and will score goals for us the way in a one up front system. I think it was quite interesting. We had all three of them on the park yesterday, and yet none of them scored. It was somebody else's score, wasn't it? So I just agree with what you guys are saying. I think that if we don't win the league and we play one up front for the rest of the season, we're going to sit in the summer and talk about how many regrets we have about not going for it this year, when we were up against whoever wins it will probably be the worst champions Scotland has had for years and years and years. The Rangers and Celtic teams of 4 or 5 years ago would be 20 points in front just now. So it's time to go for it. I know we keep talking about Celtic. We'll be out of it if we beat them on Sunday. That might be true, but as it stands right now, they're 2 points behind us with a game in hand. We've actually dropped more points this season than Celtic have. But I think a win on Sunday would be quite a blow to them psychologically. And the fact, I think if we beat them on Sunday, that their supporters will just revolt even more than they're revolting just now. And they could end up just fighting themselves for the rest of the season. But Hearts are definitely the team to catch. When talking about Motherwell, when talking about Celtic, and I think they will have a big part to play in it. But I kind of worry a little bit. But Hearts have got a lot of home games between them and the split. I can't see them not leading getting into the last 5 games.
The thing I would say is, I think yesterday showed you Kilmarnock and stuff like that. There's no easy games anymore. Teams are going to struggle. There's no much winning. I would also say, as Kenny Davey, their fans are definitely revolting. That's for sure. Quick word on yesterday. I'll sum it up by saying, when you play 11 from the start and 5 of them are pish, then I think that's when you've got a real problem. Tavernier, Suter, Raskin, Chukwani, Skov Olsen, definitely Jerry Kasama. I've named 6 there. Miovski comes on and it's just hopeless, man. You can't have that many off form passing and everything else. I genuinely thought again Bayrami looked bright, plays his way into it again for me. We need to find a formula that works. Ant-Man injured. Fucking hell, man. He looked good and then really good. And he gets injured. Dio struggling, injured. Nadiri injured, key players for us at a time where we started to look strong. We missed all of them yesterday. We cannot have that many passengers. So when we go back to the very start of the podcast, we talked about attitude. We talked about it not being all Rule fault because it is on the players. When you look at the majority of them yesterday, didn't play well. That's why we didn't win the game. Forget about the penalty decision. Forget about what happened in the last couple of minutes, because we're right to highlight that and talk about that, but it's not the reason Rangers didn't win the game yesterday. The reason Rangers didn't win the game yesterday is because our attitude from word go was one of conservatism and it's all right, we'll get there because we're better than them. And you're only better than them if you show it. You have that many passengers in your team, you're going to draw 2-2 at Livingston. And that's just the bottom line, Kenny.
It is the bottom line. I actually didn't think Skov Olsen got much of a chance yesterday because, and again, this is the third time. I don't want to do this, but I actually thought Tav didn't help him in any way, shape or form. Tav's got to get beyond him. He's got to allow Skov Olsen to come inside. He didn't do it, Stevie, in the first half, and it was Skov Olsen that was sacrificed for that. So that's my kind of take on Skov Olsen. I think I'll agree with every other player that you mentioned, though. Why Danny Röhl thought putting Gassama out wide right in the second half was an idea is just utterly beyond me. We've discussed it. Why he brought Tello Asgard on is mind-boggling. It is. I mean, the boy he doesn't influence a game in that manner, and you've got minutes left, and he brings them on. It was just a futile throw shit at a wall, see if it sticks kind of thing. Which, to be fair, I'm not criticising him for trying everything and anything to try and get the win yesterday. It's just one of those things that, as a fan, you look at it and go, well, that's not happening. That's kind of a waste of a substitution almost. We're just in a situation now, Stevie, where because of the history, the recent history that we have had in title run-ins or league, endings, we've watched this happen too often to us, and I've said it many, many times. I just feel that there's no tolerance or patience for certain situations to kind of happen, and that's my worry. Is that's what I feel watching that yesterday. I've watched this game of football before many, many times over the last 3-4 seasons, and you can tell almost from the get-go what's going to happen. And I'll end it with that, Stevie. I said at the start of the show, and I'll say it now. It's about application. It's about determination. It's about winning your individual duel, your battle with your direct opponent. That's what Scottish football is all about. And there's too many of our younger players, too many of our senior players, too many of our players, full stop, that seem to think that other people will take the responsibility and it'll all pan out for them. If you get 11 players winning their individual battles, you'll win every fucking game of football. Now, that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. Think that way from here on in. You need to win your individual battle. There was very few of our players won their individual battles yesterday. When you look back on the game, Stevie, two Robins probably did. Chikwani maybe just about. The rest of them, you could look at and say, it didn't really. So that's where I'm at with it. We must do much, much better. Especially, and as I've already said, Stevie, I'm exactly the same as you. I think games at home will take care of themselves. I really do. But games away from home are giving me the fear at the moment.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure who was all injured yesterday, to be honest with you. Was Diamandi injured, was he? And Ant-Man were injured as well. And I think that when we hardly any midweek games, if we can avoid injuries like the way we didn't avoid them this week, then I don't think we should be changing the team too often. I think if you find the formation that works, play the players in form and in their best place. So we've talked about Tavernier a lot tonight. If Sterling could stay fit, Tavernier wouldn't be in the team. But the problem is Sterling never stays fit. I think there's a real argument that if you go back to this 4-2-2-2 system, that the two number 10s, if you like, should be Moore and Bajrami, because I think they're the two that I think that look the most threatening of all the players that could play there. I'm disappointed in Scov Olsen, and I think I keep trying to make allowances for him, but I wasn't surprised he went off yesterday. And I wouldn't play him at the weekend. I definitely wouldn't. But I think the important thing for me, there's one other word that I think one of the few words Kenny didn't use there was belief. I think we've got to believe him. If we really are the best team, if we have got the best squad in the league, we should have the belief to go out and no matter who we're playing against, we should think we're going to beat them. And we should try and prove how good we are from minute 1 to minute 90 instead of faffing about for 40 minutes and hoping things just fall our way. I say it every week when I'm on. We've got to go and take this chance. There's no way we should be in the league this season. It should have been out of sight before Danny Röhl was even in the building. We've actually got ourselves in a place that we could be champions for the 56th time when it looked impossible for a while. But it's only going to happen if A, we believe that we can do it, and B, we've got the attitude that we go out to win every single game from now on. And winning games means going out to score goals, dominate the opposition, and basically show nobody any respect. And I think maybe I'll finish by saying get Derek Johnson to do the halftime team talk every week, because that seemed to work the last time.
Yeah, it's an attitude perhaps we're missing at times. Desire. Somebody mentioned it in the comments. Folks, that's us. Man United are just about to play Everton at Goodison, I believe. It's not Goodison anymore, though. It's a new Everton Stadium. Fuck knows, I'll probably learn what that's called in about 10 years' time. I still called Livingston the Spaghetti Had or whatever. It's Livingston State Everton, whatever it is. Anyway, go and watch that. Maybe a decent game of football. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Cliveview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, our very own Amrit's Candide. Go and check out his vlog from yesterday. It's wild. Boy lives on the moon, so he does. Great boy, though. We love him to bits. And Sunday Show, local dark shop online. Huge thanks to my two co-hosts. Kenny, thank you, mate.
Not at all, mate. Enjoyed that. Good to get a rant out and get it off my chest.
Davey, thank you, mate.
No problem. A bit of group therapy is always helpful in times like this. It's the first Monday night, actually, for a few weeks I've been kind of negative. So hopefully next Monday night we'll be singing the blues, as they say, because next weekend is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen, nobody's chucking away in the towel. I think what we try and do on this show is give a balanced viewpoint of how we feel. We're just supporters at the end of the day. It doesn't mean our opinion is right. It doesn't make us, more correct than anybody else either. We just talk about the team we love. Could that team we love get their finger out every game and not just pick and choose? That would be lovely. So yeah, that's where we are. Huge thanks to everybody in the comments, everybody that supports the podcast. If you want to become a member, you can do. You can just simply click on the thing that I'm about to bring up. There we go. Up there. Aye, over there. So yeah, you can click on that and become a member. If you want to support the show, we're playing a live show in Belfast on the 28th of March. Get your tickets there in the link as well, £12.50. All your favourites from Four Lads will be there on that night as well. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. We're doing incredibly well number-wise, and it's all down to you guys. We love the support. And we really appreciate all the comments, all the support for the podcast, all the support for us as individuals as well. And we will end it there. Back on Wednesday night, myself, Kenny and Chris. Then we're back on Friday night as well as we preview the Old Firm. And yeah, we will be back, hopefully back Sunday night, cheery. If not, we'll be back Sunday night anyway. Stephen Fleming, are you doing a raffle for Northern Ireland? We will do. We always do a fundraiser. So we'll do that then. Alan Smith, thanks guys, all the way from New Zealand. Brilliant, the reach. Absolutely brilliant, Alan. We hope you're doing well. Folks, take it easy. Have a great night. Go and watch Everton Man U if you want something to do. Support your Rangers pods online. We really appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Take care for now. See you.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Cliveview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.